This is part 2 of Peaceful Education, the Blue Mountain School Way. The thing that I was thinking of that it reminded me to say was, how many times have you all felt like your emotions perhaps are out of control? In other words, like you don't know how to deal with maybe somebody who's made you angry or somebody who's made you very sad, and it's almost like you don't have control of your own feelings. Has anybody felt that at all? It's hard to describe it. Go ahead. You felt
No,
that.
I'm just saying it happens to me. That's all.
And that's one of the things that we're trying to equip the children with is that, for example, some children in school, because I was a middle school teacher prior to coming to Radford and teaching here, some children will act out in the classroom and yell or call out or do something violent to another classmate because they have some other need that they're trying to have met, but they don't know how to get that need met in a way that's like socially productive. And right, yeah, and so this again is providing these kids with an opportunity to get the tools to be able to interact with others in a much more healthy way. So that's the big part of the contemplative. Another big part of the contemplative is being out in nature. And I just have, you see some pictures up here. You see Sarah doing some yoga. I don't know how, let me turn one of those lights here. No. So she's doing yoga outside with the kids, and here's a kid sitting in a tree in what's called a sit spot. So there's, again, a great deal of research out there about the value of connecting with nature and how it helps kids develop what's called executive functioning and how it helps them to develop just appreciation for all of the beauty that's out there in the world so that they can pause. And really, it's literally that saying, stop and smell the roses, where the kids are really learning that there's a lot to value in this world, and then it also hopefully turns around to where they become good stewards of that world as well. But this connection in nature, there's a lot of emphasis at the school on let's be outdoors, when we can, that it's healthy to be outdoors, to be playing, to have this free play time. So tell me, how much, so school starts at 9, right? And so when is the kids' first break? I know it differs per class, but when would it be for yours?
At 10:15, we sit down for our community circle, and we sing some songs and play some instruments and do some dancing. And then they get their snack and shoes on, and we have snack in the woods every day. Doesn't matter the weather. And it's called Outdoor Explore. And so we sit together on blankets and eat snack. And then once they're finished, they have some free time. And we have named places, so we're kind of teaching them place as well and valuing place. So we have Silverberry Hideout, which has got autumn olives all around, so that season we spend time there. There's the Fort Village, which at summer camp the kids built forts out of big branches, dead branches and sticks and leaves, so it really looks like a fort village, and they get into some deep imaginary play up there. And when we find a new spot, we come up with a name for it, so we're helping them to look at what's there and think about where they are and how they feel about a place. And they start to make requests about where they want to go and how they feel. We should go to Silverberry Hideout. Let's go to Fort Village.
The kids have meditative spots that they
Yeah,
choose.
they call them sit spots, so some of the older elementary teacher, the kids have, they go out, they each have their own little spot, because how many acres is it? 6 acres? 9 acres of land? So most of it is wooded, and so they'll go out and they'll find themselves a spot to where they can kind of observe the changes that are happening with the season. I mean, just really even focusing on what's this leaf doing today that it wasn't doing yesterday, or this mushroom, or whatever, so that they can really kind of see and value, the changes that are happening in the physical environment. And I wanted to say as well that, they have this morning break, and then you have more class, and then you have lunch. And how long is the recess time?
They have a half hour after lunch and recess.
So lunch is a half hour, and then recess is a half an hour. Have you all heard that, a lot of schools are doing away with recess? Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. Because of the SOL pressures.
No running around for little guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the studies show that kids who
mean, again, this school is doing things, like as Warren said, that are following research. And then also, have you all ever heard of the schools in Finland? Anybody ever heard
Yes.
anything about?
I was just reading.
Yeah, the schools in Finland, you know, in terms of if you're going to judge schools based on test scores, Finland is usually at the top. And what's interesting about Finland is they typically, according to a couple of articles that I've read, give the kids, you know, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes break every hour and a half or so. And yeah, and so again, we're trying to follow what leads to best practices. We want our kids to be successful academically, but we're recognizing that it takes certain things to happen first before that academic growth can happen. And one of those things is really being able to know yourself and being able to be settled, but also being able to have the freedom so that when you come out at recess for the 10 minutes that a public school might give you, you're not going to be running around like a maniac because you're so bottled up. Be quiet. You're so bottled up with your energy that you only have this small window to get it out. So contemplative is made up of these mindfulness practices, time in nature, time alone, time really thinking about and contemplating what's out there. Now, I said Blue Mountain School is contemplative progressive. I want to talk to you about the progressive piece of it. And Jane, we will have you talk at some point.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
I'm learning a lot. This is great.
So I pointed out the outdoor stuff. I'm not moving the slides very well here. I want to also make the connection to peace, and I think I already said something about this, but the more time that you spend in nature, the more you tend to appreciate nature. And then, you know, a big part of peace studies is environmental awareness and being peaceful with Mother Earth and being, you know, not oppressors and abusers of the resources that are supposed to be here for all of us to share. And so, again, I think that this time in nature is an example of a prong of peaceful education. Now, progressive education I also see as leading to peace as well. So it's progressive education, if you want to simplify it, it's all about student voice and choice. So let me ask you, how many times in school did you all feel like you had a choice in what you studied, when you studied it, and how you studied it?
You pick your schedule and you...
Okay, in the university level.
No,
But,
in high school
oh, in
too,
K-12, okay.
Because I wanted to be an architect, so I took summer classes. This is what I want to do. Already knew I was going to go Virginia Tech, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I don't want to do this.
Uh-huh.
This is boring.
So you got to choose some electives.
And
Okay.
you actually, it's called like VOTEC, and you actually like spend like half your day there.
Right,
Like you can do nursing, you can do building trades. It's more like a trade school
right.
type thing.
Can I ask you where you went to school?
I went to Front Royal, Warren County.
Okay.
Public
Did
Schools.
is anybody here from like the deep Southwest Virginia where it's a lot more rural, lot smaller schools? Did you feel like you had lots of vocational opportunities like she's describing, or did they not have that?
Well,
for
see,
you?
ours isn't.
Hang on, go ahead. You're gonna say.
I mean, like we had VOTEC too, except for it was mostly not like there was nursing and there's cosmetology and things like that, but the majority of it was actually like working with cars and doing like HVAC stuff like
Okay.
that.
So it was similar to some extent.
Yeah, and
sounds
then
like.
like with the getting to choose like how we learned something or like our classes, there was only 200 of us, like 8th through 12th grade. So we didn't really have like a lot of choice in like what classes we could take because you can't offer tons of classes. If
Right,
you're only
you
gonna
can't
a
have
couple students.
honors level, AP level, IB level,
we
all
did have
those.
like AP level classes and stuff like that. And we actually polycomed, polycomed with like
Distance
other
education,
schools.
yeah.
We did that. But even if we didn't get to pick a lot of our classes, from where there was little of us, we really did kind of get to choose how we learned something. Because I mean, you could have one-on-one time with your teacher in any way. Like,
Because of that small
Yeah,
size.
because it's
Oh,
super
interesting.
small.
Yeah.
So I mean, like we got to choose how we wanted to learn something, or we actually got to do like in what order in kind of a way because we still did SOL practice, but where there's there's so few of us. Like you could finish all your SOL stuff and then be like, okay, now that we're with that, we're gonna go teach you like more.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
nice.
and
So,
then
but
towards
the
period,
SOL was
so-
still non-negotiable, though, right?
Yeah, we still learn our SOL
Yeah.
stuff, but it would be like way more in depth than like other things that we'd learn.
And you all had your hands up. You and I'm sorry to call you and you. But tell me, did you have like the extensive? I mean, because it sounds like you had even in a small school a pretty extensive vocational VOTEC sort of stuff. Did you all feel like you had that as well, or?
I'm from Martinsville, and we
Okay.
didn't really have much to offer.
Okay, so yeah, so it depends on the size of the school. So you were going to say something about your school being You were saying, I interrupted
well,
you.
like our school, I don't know. It only like if you only get choices if you make them. You know what I mean? Like some students just don't care. They're not college bound. They don't, so they just get put in those like normal classes. I mean, we're like a middle-sized school. Like we're not Fairfax County or anything like that, but
Right.
we're like smaller. But I don't know.
That's an interesting comment that, like, you could go through your school without making choices.
Yes, of course.
Uh-huh.
Like someone like, I'm not trying to like stereotype, but like the redneck guys, they already know they're gonna go on like automobiles and stuff like electricians and stuff. So they don't care about like English. They care about math. They don't care about science. They don't care about what's gonna like benefit them in like the work world. So they kind of make.
You need to come to my EDE at 320 class because we need to talk about, do they care? Are they socialized
I mean,
to?
they do, but what I'm saying is all of what benefits them. That's what everyone.
Yeah.
That's how you have to think of life, anyways. What's gonna benefit you the most? That's what most people are gonna think. I feel like. Is what.
When I went to school, we had a special school for everybody who was going there because they did not want to drag down our grades. So if you wanted to be a hairdresser or you wanted to fix cars or be an electrician, you were immediately sent to another school so that everybody else's grades would reflect
Right,
better because you weren't there anymore.
You were gonna add something from your experience with
Um,
VOTEC?
We had a lot of VOTEC. We had a lot of the diesel tech and cosmetology. And then I went to like a dual enrollment program to like get my associate's degree, so I didn't choose any of those like college level
Right.
classes that I took.
Now, so we're talking high school, which it sounds like there is a lot of more choice and voice in high school. What about your middle school and elementary years? Did you feel like, you got to choose your classes, you got to choose how you were taught stuff, you got to choose, these extra things post SOL stuff covered?
Never.
Okay, so here's a difference. I mean, we're a pre-K through 7th grade school. We're not a high school, and so what we're doing is we're saying we believe that voice and choice are important from the get-go so that people can make good decisions when they get older.
How do you guys integrate from like the K through 7th? But they're gonna have to go to like either another private school or a high school. How do they like transition? Like how are they gonna be like not socially awkward, but you know what I mean? Like, since
Prepared.
They're gonna be different than the other kids because they're gonna think different.
They are.
Right.
But to some extent, they're going to have an advantage because they're used to things not being exactly a certain way. So if something unusual comes up, these kids are going to be way less shaken than somebody who's just gone to a regular school where everything's going to be exactly the same every day.
And because of our contemplative practices, which include socializing, like really taking care of conflicts in the classroom and really doing a lot of team building and cooperative stuff, there's a lot of confidence in our students. And so with that, when there's like, oh gosh, what's going on, I think that they have more confidence coming out of a school like this.
Like, would you guys ever like, I don't know, like in the future, you guys like plan to do like a high school level? Or?
I mean, it's in the thought processes, yeah.
There is a student who moved from our school to the public school and is in the 6th grade public school and has been in our school. And my daughter is in public school with him, and he is acing everything. And my daughter is like, whoa, and he's adjusting like, and I was wondering about that. That's a good question. How are we preparing them for what's next? And it's very exciting to know that it's like not phasing him a bit. And I'd say that it's, like Sarah said, that we prepared them with the choice and voice, that they feel empowered and they know that they can go out there and say, okay, well, what's this look like? And I can do this. Right.
I want to insert here, I have 2 examples. My own daughters, who again, it was before Blue Mountain School came to the degree that you guys are describing. It was just a parent cooperative. We had 2 official teachers, and the rest of us just talked.
This was back in
This was back
1981.
in 80s, 90s. And I have 2 daughters that were a part of it, and the older daughter, she decided to go on to public school. She goes in there at 7th grade. She was okay. The 7th grade in Floyd is the